Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
I'm able to hear you. Hello.
Good evening, sir. Yes, you're audible, sir.
Yeah. Is the screen visible, ma'am?
Yeah, you're audible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Good evening, everybody. So, any questions from yesterday's session, sir? No? So, can I move ahead?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, let's see today's session. So, I'll begin with USA. So, we'll see the admission process for major countries that we process. And I think US is very popular with international students or Indian students particularly
Can
from
you
the
be
south.
a bit louder, sir? Little.
So if you cannot connect here, please disconnect and reconnect because I have already swallowed the mic into my mouth, so I cannot speak any more louder. Probably with the connection problem. Okay. So US, I think everybody is familiar with US, and most of the city names are popular with everybody. And US is a big country divided into 52 states and has five different time zones. Now, why I'm talking about five different time zones is because there was a procedure uh, before the COVID that you had to send all the hard copy documents to the university. So your courier had to reach the university before the deadline and timeline that is specified. So because the universities lie in different time zones, it was very important to note that when you're sending it and how you're sending it, so that you don't make late couriers and it doesn't reach on time. Even if it's 1 minute late, they don't accept it. It's like that. So uh, that's how they work. They have deadlines and they are divided into 52 states and they lie across east to west. Now, there are two kinds of tuition fees in US. That is, one is in-state fees and out-state fees. In-state fees is for domestic students, and out-state fees is for international students. So when you normally get into the website, by default, you get into the domestic undergraduate admissions website. So please make sure that you go to the international admissions and check the fees to not to confuse yourself with low fees. Uh, International fees will always be three times more than the local fees. That's the outstate fees. And there are different kinds of universities, public universities, private universities, universities run by churches, those kind of churches, those kind of universities. But anybody and everybody are allowed to admit international students. Again, depends on what course and what year of intake that you're planning to take in. And US has two intakes that I spoke about, fall and spring, that is in September and in January. Okay, and as part of counseling, if you are new to this field, if you are familiar with a little bit of geography and little bit of popular names of US cities and towns, then it will help you remember university names also. If you know 10 place names, you know 10 university names. I'll show you a screen with regards to that. It's as simple as that. If you're looking at the process, has two major intakes that I've been telling about, fall and spring, that is September and January. Mandatorily requires IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT, and ACT. Right now, as I discussed yesterday, a few universities across United States are given waiver on SAT, GRE, and GMAT, depending on the program, which may be in force until fall 24. After that, we don't know. So that's how they are working right now. And we have discussed WES also yesterday. So some of the universities require evaluation, that is credential evaluation, WES or something related to that or something similar to that. And US normally accepts only 4 year degrees, that's your BTech and BE. Now, your question might be, what should students with 3 year degrees do? Yes, 3 year degrees also can be accepted in certain universities for certain programs, provided they are from a NAC A accredited program or university in India, and there is a WES evaluation done to their credits to see if they are equal to the 4 year degrees. MBAs are also available for freshers without work experience, and whether small, big, public, private, everybody charges an application fee, and it can range from $25 to $350 uh, for the application. And on an average, you can take it as $75 per application. And the universities follow strict deadlines. Now, when I'm talking about deadlines, there are three kinds of deadlines that you need to keep a watch on: the early bird deadline, the regular deadline, and the rolling admissions. Now, please note, early bird deadline will always be 3 months ahead of the regular deadline. So, for example, if your regular deadline is March, then your early bird deadline would somewhere be in December, January. So, and if the student is looking for scholarships and anything like that, then they must make sure that the application goes through before the early bird deadline. You can still keep applying to universities for admission, but you may not be eligible for scholarships through the regular deadline. And rolling admissions they don't have particular deadlines. They might have 3 to 4 rounds of application rounds with certain dates. You need to apply through those dates to get the admit. And they don't particularly stop at a particular number of applications. They keep filling the applications and they defer you to the next intake in case there are more applications. So that's how rolling admissions work. Once you submit the application, when I say submit the application, including payment of application fees, it's called the final submission. Now, once you submit that, they normally take 30 to 45 days to turn around and let you know about the decision on the application. Now, you need to, you had a procedure, like I said, to send couriers of your transcripts and LRs in sealed envelopes. In case it comes back, you might have to do it, and you have to send it before the deadline. And that was the procedure before the COVID. Right now, they have put it on hold, so you don't have to send hard copy documents to any university. You can upload the scanned copies or attested copies of your um, certificates online itself. So any questions here?
So
Yes, sir. Actually, yesterday,
One by one, sir, one by one.
yes,
so
sorry.
earlier did we require hard copies of the original mark documents to be sent?
No, yesterday itself I told, sir, not original,
Yeah, yeah, not
attested
to. No,
copies.
no, last attested copies were. Okay, okay.
Yes.
Fair enough.
Yes, hi, Hazar. So yesterday we discussed about the Germany, right? So it's so UG can't be done because of the 13-year pattern followed. So is it same applicable for USA also, or it's we can go for UG courses?
You can go for bachelor's, you can go for associate degrees, you can go for masters, you can go for PhD programs. All are possible with US.
Okay, thank you.
I have something to ask.
Please, sir.
Yeah. You were telling that there are different what do you call fee structure for people who are from international and different from for people who are staying there.
Yes.
Okay. So people who are staying there, Indians will have the same fee structure as Americans who are staying there,
No,
or
when I'm saying people staying there, it means US passport holders.
Yeah, we were US passport holders.
Yes.
If they're staying there, so the fees will be same like the Americans who are for
Yes.
what they are
Yes.
paying. Okay.
Yes, it'll be a domestic fee.
Domestic. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay. This is just to show you an illustration of, if you know 10 place names, you know 10 university names. So it's easier to recollect while counseling, and a little bit of geography will definitely help you. Like Berkeley, Montana, Oregon, University of Idaho, Arizona, Texas, Kansas, Nebraska. All these are very popular with international students. If you know 10 university, 10 place names or town names or city names or state names, you can be able to tell them 10 university names also. Okay. That is just for illustration to show you information. Any other questions you have on this process, sir?
Will you share the checklist of how many we are tied up with?
Sir, all that is there on the CRM. Tomorrow, when you see the platform demo, they will show you all those things. And you don't have to ask us to see the type list. It is there readily available on the platform.
Somebody has a question in the chat box.
So I told very clearly, please don't put it on the chat box because I will not be able to see it. Mr. Arvind, I saw two entries from your end. That is why I removed one. So kindly note there is only one person allowed to attend, not two people.
No, it's different. He is Arvind Maurya, and I
No,
am Arvind.
Arvind, I removed only Arvind Maurya. I removed only Arvind Maurya because there were two entries. Even now I can see that. Arvind Maurya is already there. I know, so I can see the difference between Arvind Kumar and Arvind Maurya. There were two Arvind Maurya, so I had to remove one.
Okay. Right.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we are looking at Canada. So Canada again is a huge country with plenty of routes and ways to get into Canada, as in routes for exploration, in routes for settling down, and routes for immigration, and routes for student. So Canada has a lot of options like that, like the Canadian uh, the federal skill visas, the provincial programs, the student visa route, the Canadian experience class. So plenty of routes like this open to people trying to get into Canada for various reasons, either for education or for employment. Now, Canada is a big place with plenty of opportunities, plenty of space for immigration, but unfortunately, because most of the students are concentrating on a particular territory or a province, they have put a cap this year that they will accept around 3.6 to 3.7 K applications in a year. So that is a new rule that's come into Canada, and they've removed post-study work permits for certain programs which are in the public-private partnership programs, and they've increased the stay back for even 1 year programs. If you are getting a 1 year program from university, you can also take 3 years of stay back. Previously, it was only 1 year. Now you get 3 years of stay back. So that's a modification that they've done. And Canada is divided into provinces and territories. So there are 10 provinces and 3 territories. Now, the most popular provinces where students flock is Quebec, Ontario, British Columbia, and Alberta after that. Now, most of the universities and institutions are available in these belt towards the southern part, because the northern part is a little cold. Students don't prefer to go to the northern part. They are in the southern part. Now, Vancouver, Ontario, Toronto, Montreal, all these are popular places for students, and most of the universities are located in this part. Now, what happens is, uh, when I say there is a cap, now previously Quebec was the only French colony which was had a provincial approval to be taken. Now there is a new rule that even all the provinces must have a provincial approval to be received from the provinces which they are trying to apply. So that's a new rule that is coming, and it will take effect from March 31, where all the provinces will comply and all the institutions will comply to their provinces. So that's about Canada to begin with. If you look at the process, has two major intakes: universities, fall and spring. That is like their US counterparts. It's September and January. Like I said yesterday, there are community colleges in Canada. This is another education system which provides another level of education. Actually, they have three intakes in a year. That is September, January, and May. Now, community colleges and universities differ in a lot of ways. One is, universities are big campuses. They are more focused into research and teaching, and they offer you master's and doctoral programs also. But whereas community colleges have a restriction where they cannot offer you master's and doctoral programs, they can offer you diplomas, bachelor's, postgraduate diplomas from their university or colleges. And community colleges are very flexible in terms of admissions. Even 55% and above can get an admit in most of the colleges in community uh, colleges level. And they are flexible, and they take both 2 year, 3 year, and 4 year degrees. But universities still stick to their 4 year degree plan, and they accept mostly 4 year degrees. But community colleges accept both 3 year and 4 year degrees also. But certain programs will require 4 year programs only. So, but there are chances, there are options that students can opt for a 3-year degree program. And I've mentioned something like SDS entry scheme for Indian students. I'll explain to you in the next slide. This is a visa program that is given to Indian students. And once you submit the application, they take around 30 to 45 days to come back to you once you submit the application. Here, please note, whether it's university or college, they have application fees. And it can range from $90 to $350 Canadian dollars. And here to community colleges, you don't need letter of recommendations. You can apply with the SOP. At universities will require 2 to 3 SOP letter of recommendations depending on the program. And previously, again, before COVID, why I'm mentioning it here is tomorrow it might come into force and it will not be a surprise to you. There were procedures where you had to send all the documents that you're sending to universities and colleges to be notarized by the public notary in India to make sure it is the original document. So this procedure was put on hold once the COVID came in, so that there were no places where students can go and get it notarized because there were lockdown and restrictions. They put it on hold. Right now, also it is on hold, but slowly they might start asking you about the program. So because of that, I have mentioned it here so that it's not a surprise to you if they start asking it again. And community colleges do not have deadlines actually. They work on a first come first basis. So as the applications come in, they keep closing once the seat's full. They will not even tell you also sometimes. But universities follow. Yes, Mr. Aravind, tell me. Hello. Hello.
Arvind has a request in the chat. He says that he's not able to speak from his laptop.
But then he has to log into one place. That is why I was confused. I don't know whether he's doing from a laptop or a mobile.
There is a chat, you can look into the chat.
Yeah, I saw the chat. But he has to enter it. Otherwise, I will not be able to allow him. Nama. Hmm? यार
Can't hear anyone. Not audible.
Is anyone speaking? Sir, are you there?
please hold on. I'm trying to let people in because they have did some mistakes and they're not able to get into. Just hold on for a second.
Yeah. Okay, right.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
sorry for the interruption. When you don't properly connect, this is what happens. You know, you interrupt yourself, you interrupt the others also. Okay, I think we were discussing on community colleges. Community colleges, I said, are a little flexible, less costly than universities, and can give you bachelor's, diplomas, and postgraduate diploma programs. And we were talking about notarization, which was required previously before COVID. Now it's put on hold, and community colleges do not have normal deadlines. They work on a first come first served basis. Sorry, and universities follow deadlines. Now, when universities follow deadlines, I'm talking about the same kind of deadlines that US universities also follow. They have early bird deadline, regular deadlines, and the rolling admissions. Now, previously, until last August, Canada used to accept only IELTS as one of their alternative English programs. But right now, they're accepting the TOEFL IBT and the PTE academic also as an alternative to the English language requirements. Now, here also, universities normally accept only 4-year degrees, except if you have a NAC and good academics, and depending on the program, you need to do the WEST evaluation, they might accept the 3-year degree. Canada also charges application fee, whether it's community college or university, private or public, they charge you an application fee. Now, from next month onwards, for the September intake, any student who's applying for admissions into the Canadian institutions need a provincial approval letter before they can go for a visa. That means once the offer letter is issued by the um, university or college or institution, you need to do a separate procedure of applying to the provincial government to get an approval for your admission. Only then your visa comes through. So that procedure is also being rolled out by universities. They will set a procedure, and by 31st March, is their compliance date. So we must be getting a clearer picture by 31st of March. Some universities or colleges have already rolled out this program, and they have started informing people who have got offer letters. So as and when it starts working, they keep informing us. And here in Canada, before you leave or go for a visa, you will need a medical examination or a medical test has to be done. Now, this medical test has to be done only at the empaneled panel of doctors that they have mentioned on their website. All major cities in India have a panel of doctors where the student can get the medicals done. What is done is you have to book an appointment or sometimes directly walk into these medical panels, get the medical test done. They normally check for contagious diseases like TB, HIV, hepatitis B, H1N1, these kind of diseases, and COVID. So to see that you don't take it with you to their country. And the report is confidentially uploaded to the embassy based on your passport number. And this acknowledgement has to be filed with your visa application to make sure that you have completed your medicals. So this is how the procedure happens for Canadian admission. Any questions here?
Sir,
Yes, ma'am.
are you able to hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay. I had a doubt about the application, the visa applications. Are we as counselors supposed to help them out with the visa applications, or are they supposed to do it on their own, students?
When you're a counselor, ma'am, it so happens that you need to handle the whole process.
Okay, fine. Because I think for Canada, the visa is handled by one particular agency, right? So it has to go through them only.
No, 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 ma'am. There is no
Nothing else.
agency. There is no
Okay.
agency nowhere for no country there is an agency, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
If you're familiar with the visa process, you can do it. Nobody's stopping you.
Oh, okay, fine. All right, fine.
But the
Thank
only thing is you must be familiar with the rules and regulations and the procedures and applications. Otherwise, you will end up spoiling the student's career.
Right. Yeah,
So
okay.
that's the only caution that you need to take care. Unless you know it thoroughly, please don't attempt it because you will end up giving trouble to the student and put yourself into trouble also.
Okay, but this process also we go through Edu Milestones, right?
Yes, ma'am. We help you with the visa process.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? No questions? I can move ahead.
What exactly is this community
please.
colleges?
Pardon, sir?
What exactly is this community colleges?
I think I just explained to you. Community colleges are colleges or institutions which provide, a certain level of education. They're all government institutions, and there are private community colleges also. They give you diplomas, bachelor's, and postgraduate diplomas, but they cannot give you master's and doctoral programs. And they're more into vocational type of courses rather than teaching and research.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Can I move? Okay. I was talking to about SDS scheme. Now, SDS scheme is nothing but the student direct scheme. It's been named as that, as the student direct scheme. Now, there are certain criteria that you need to fulfill to get into this SDS scheme automatically. Now, let me tell you what is this SDS scheme. Now, for Canada, the rule says that you need to apply to a Canadian visa program at least 3 months before the start date. That means if your course is starting in September, you need to apply for your visa somewhere in June. Only then your visa success or visa outcome can be done without getting late to reach the university. But unfortunately, most of the students don't do it. They know it at least 1 month or 10 days or 15 days before that. I've seen that. But unfortunately, those visas don't come through. So make sure you apply to Canadian visas 3 months before the start date. That's the timeline given by the Canadian Embassy. Now, when a visa is filed, there are two kinds of application that can be done. One is through the non-SDS scheme and one is through the SDS scheme. Now, when you go through the non-SDS scheme, you will need to show them 2 years of, if, for example, you're going for a 2-year course, then you need to show them fees that is paid initially for the semester, balance fees for 2 years, 2 years living expenses, and a lot of other supporting documents which shows your annual income and all the other stuff and financial capabilities. So it makes a lot of paperwork and your visa timeline is undecided. It can take 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years, we don't know. But if you go through the SDS scheme, that means you have to satisfy a few criteria to make sure that your visa application goes through the SDS scheme. Then the first condition is that your IELTS, TOEFL, or PT scores must be equivalent to 6 bands each module. That means it should be not less than 6 in each of the modules that you're writing the IELTS. It can be for UG and PG. It applies to both kind of programs. And you need to pay 1 year tuition fee upfront. Normally for Canada, we need to pay only 1 semester fees. But here you need to pay them 1 year fees upfront. And there is something called a GIC, or a Guaranteed Investment Certificate. That is the amount that you need to show the Canadian Embassy for your living expenses. Till recently, last November, it was 10,000 Canadian dollars, but they have recently increased it to 20,635 Canadian dollars that you need to show them for 1 year's living expenses. That means GIC is a procedure where you will open a bank account in the in Canada, in a Canadian bank, and transfer $20,635 to the Canadian bank in your name. So the procedure is, when you reach the university, enroll at the university, you will have to go to the local bank and tell them that you have enrolled and show them proof. So what they will do is they will give you a local bank account, and the amount is transferred every month into your account to make sure you don't have any trouble with the living expenses. So 20,635 is divided by 12 and disbursed to you at the first of every month once you enroll at the university. Now, this is a mandatory procedure for all the students going to Canada. Clear? Clear about GIC? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Please respond. Yeah, if it is clear, then I go ahead. Now, there is something called a DLI number for all the institutions. It is nothing but the audited number for each university that the Canadian Embassy or Immigration has audited this university and given an approval for them to take international students. That is what is the DLI number. So it's a 16-digit unique number given to each institution. Now, Canada does not like previous visa rejections, and they don't accept more than 4 backlogs. Now, when I say backlogs, it means repeats in a subject in your previous examination. For example, if I had failed in mathematics in the first year and physics in the second year, it becomes 2 backlogs. Now, if I fail again in physics, but I've cleared mathematics, it becomes 3 backlogs. Okay, it's the number of repeats that you do, it's not the number of subjects. Clear?
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. This is a map to show you the institutions located in different provinces. You can see Ontario has the highest number of institutions, followed by British Columbia, Alberta, Quebec, and other places. So normally students flock to these provinces like Quebec, Ontario, British Columbia, Alberta, and other places, but very little students, go into Newfoundland, Labrador, Prince Edward Islands and those places because it's little colder and not as popular as these places in Canada. Okay. Any questions, sir?
No, sir. Yeah.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay. We are moving on to United Kingdom. As you all know, UK is very, very popular with the Indian students. A lot of students look at UK as one of their favorite destinations, just like US, the second one. But also, please note, UK means it's a combination of, or it constitutes of 4 countries actually: Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. Not Ireland. Ireland is a separate country, not part of UK. So Northern Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales make United Kingdom. Now this is what is looking for a single visa for all these 4 countries. It is United Kingdom. Now UK is also famous for a lot of courses. They are famous for some of the best universities in the globe, and they have plenty of courses and universities to offer to any student looking at their, country for education. Uh, has 2 major intakes, fall and spring, that is September and January. But lately, a few universities have started giving you May intakes, June intakes, July intakes, and all these things to fill up applications. So that's not permanent, it's temporary, but the major intakes are fall and spring. All the universities, all the courses are open in September with a few restrictions in spring. So as now in UK, you can find, intakes throughout the year actually. Some in May, some in June, some in April, some in July. So there are intakes continuously happening from the past 1 year. I think because of the applications drop. So they want to fill up the colleges and seats. UK normally does not charge you application fees for their process, but there are few universities which charge application fee. The big ones like the Imperial, the London School of Economics, and those people, the Southampton, they might charge fees, application fees for certain courses, not for all the courses also. And here, one more thing you need to understand: there is a portal called UCAS. It's called the University College Application Service. Now, this is the portal through which all the bachelor's applications or undergraduate applications are to be done for UK universities. And every year, there is a deadline for that. Now, if you're planning to apply for September 24, UK undergraduate applications are already closed. They closed in January 31. So, in case there are students who still want to apply, by July 1st, there is something called clearing opening. It's called UCAS clearing. So any seats left over will be opened up for students to apply who have not applied or missed the deadline. So that is one opportunity that you can make use of in case of you have application for the undergraduate. Now, students can also do medicine in UK. Now, if you're looking at medicine in UK, that is very strict deadline actually. Every year, the medicine deadline closes on October 15th every year. And before that, you need to attempt the UCAT exam, qualify, then apply through UCAS for medicine in UK. So every year, October 15th is the deadline for the next subsequent year. So if you're looking at September 25 deadlines, then you need to apply before October 15th. Okay, so that's how it works. Only a few big business schools charge application fee, as I told you. Now, there are something called pre-masters or pre-foundation programs or foundation programs in UK where when you don't satisfy the prerequisites for the main program, they allow you to go through a pathway program. So that is called foundation programs or pre-masters programs. Now, for example, most of the business management courses in UK will require mathematics. A lot of students do not have mathematics in their 12th standard. to get into these programs. So what they will do is they will recommend you to take a foundation program to satisfy those prerequisites and then move on to the main program. So if you take a 3-year bachelor degree, 1 year will be a foundation course and 3 years will be your degree. So it will become 4 years. Now, if you get admitted into a foundation program or a pre-master's program, then you are directed to take a UKVI IELTS program, not the normal IELTS. UKVI IELTS has a slight change in the pattern that they test you. So you need to take the UKVI IELTS rather than normal IELTS for the foundation and pre-master's programs. So that is also called as pathway programs. Okay. Now UK has no problem with 3-year and 4-year degrees. They accept both happily. And here the fun is masters are for 1 year only. Lately, after the COVID, they have started certain courses with 1 year placement just to circumvent the visa rules. So there are courses for 2 years. There are courses for 1 year with additional placement or optional placement given. So these are different combinations available, but on a standard, masters are only for 1 year. And students are also accepted on a matured entry route. Now, you might have a question as what is matured entry route? Now, for example, I'm a student who's finished my 12th standard and I'm not able to go further in my education because of financial difficulties or health issues or some problems socially or financially in my life. So I drop my plans here. After 12th, I get into work. I work for 5 to 6 years. Now I think that I want to do I want to further continue my education. So in that case, you don't have to come back and do your bachelor's. You can directly get into your master's, provided you have finished 10 plus 2, have 5 to 6 years of work experience, and you are about 26 years of age and have good IELTS score. You can directly get into a master's in management, accounting, MBA, and all these programs through the matured entry route. Few universities offer that route for select students on assessment. So that is called matured entry route. 15 to 20 days is the turnaround time once you submit the application. Here also, medicals are required. And unfortunately, this is the costliest medical fees that they take for the complete year. Any questions here, sir?
Yes, sir. Actually, you mean that no UG required, directly we can do the masters.
That is for the matured entry route.
Yeah, we have 5 years of work experience.
5 to 6 years of work experience.
Okay. Great.
And they do
Thank
it
you.
based on the assessment, not direct entry. You have to send it for assessment. If they find it satisfactory, then they will give you an admission.
Okay.
Any other questions? Can I move?
Yes, sir.
So you can see the number of institutions available for UK. The whole country is filled with institutions. So every nook and corner you can find an institution, from Oxford to Cambridge to any kind of university that you're looking at. It is available in UK. You ask for any kind of course, it is available. Okay. So we're moving on to Australia. Australia, again, a huge country divided into different states. Western Australia covers half of Australia. Northern Territory, South Australia, Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and Tasmania make Australia. Now, Australia also is very popular with the Indian students. They have opened up Australia for students to get longer stay back, longer PR options, and longer work hours. Now, they are encouraging students to apply, but they want good quality students. That's the only thing. Your financials have to be very good. Your education profile has to be very good. And there should be consistent approval of financials before you get a visa. And there are only 42 universities in Australia, and most of them are located towards the eastern part of Australia, towards Queensland, Brisbane, New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, and Perth. And beautiful universities with good education, plenty of opportunities for migration and settlement. But you must please note, Australia also has something called a long-term shortage skill list and a short-term shortage skill list. Now, if you are really looking to settle down in Australia, then you have to go through this list and make sure that you're trying to get into a relevant course according to your background, which has demand in Australia, so that it can help you get into a PR process easily or in a very short time. So that is what students have to target And if you're looking at the process, has 3 intakes, like I told you, February, July, and
What are the
November.
course? Sorry for interrupting. What are the course that you advise for getting that? Is there any particular courses
No, sir,
based on
that's
the
what I
faculty?
said. All the courses are available. Then you need to see what is the shortage. So depending on that, you need to target basically technical courses, engineering courses. Uh, these kind of courses are in demand, IT and all these things. So you need to see where there is a shortage in their country to target that kind of a profession. So when you come out, there should be option to get into a job. So that kind of professions is what I'm advising you to target. Okay.
Even like MBBS, also they accept going.
MBBS is good. It is there, but it is very tough to get in. They have an entrance exam. You need to clear all that. Language requirements are there. All that has to be done. It is not like Ukraine and Russia where you can just get into medicine. It doesn't work like that.
Any pharmacy courses?
Plenty of things. That's what I said. Anything medical related has strict assessment.
That's right.
And there are a lot of requirements to be met.
Yes.
Only if you do that, you will get into these
Yes.
courses.
Hello.
Hello? Is there somebody trying
Okay.
to talk to me?
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Yes.
Yes, sir. Hello? Any questions, sir?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Kindly, if you have any questions, don't interrupt me in the middle because I lose the flow and I won't be able to tell you everything. So let me finish and then you can ask me questions on that. Okay. And so we were talking about intakes. There are 3 intakes for Australia: February, July, and November. February and July is the major intake where all the courses, all the universities are open. November is a very small intake where few IT courses and management courses may be in offer. And Australia does not charge application fees, but a few big schools like the University of Monash, the Uni Melbourne, or University of New South Wales might ask you for application fees. Out of the G8, a few might ask you for application fees. Australia has no problem with the English language programs. IELTS, TOEFL, and PT are happily accepted. And Australia has no problem with 3-year and 4-year degrees also. Here I've written masters are for 2 years. The reason is Australia has an immigration rule which says if you are looking for a stay back or a post-study work permit, then you need to take 2 years of masters. That is the rule. That is why I mentioned 2 years masters, but Australia also offers masters for 1 year or 1.5 years also. So masters for 2 years if you want are looking for PR or stay back. 15 to 20 days is the turnaround time once you submit the application, but now it is taking a little more longer because a lot of verification and assessment happening. So it's more than 30 days actually once you submit the application. Here also medicals are required. They have their own panel of doctors on the website. You need to go to them and take the medicals done. Australia does not require reference letters. You can only work with SOP, and SOP is the most important instrument with which they decide on your application. So that is very important. And Australia also has no particular deadlines actually. The earlier you apply, the earlier you get an offer and travel. So at the earliest, if you apply, it helps you, get into the program. Any questions here?
No.
Yes, how much it should be, sir? Minimum like 6.5,
For what, sir?
depending upon the university for admission.
That's what I said. So universally, different programs require different requirements. So we'll see that also. Okay. So you can see the number of universities to the one side of the country and 1 or 2 on the other parts of the country. There are only 42 universities and all are audited by the government and they have to maintain standards because they are audited every year. So we're coming to New Zealand. New Zealand, again, a very small country, but completely empty. And probably it's the youngest country to be discovered by mankind for human inhabitation. And it's divided into 2 islands. And New Zealand is also popular with in the Indian population because of the cricket matches that happen between the two. And a lot of places are very familiar with the cricket fans. Divided into two islands actually, the Northern Island and the Southern Island. The Northern Island is the most populated island between the two, and Auckland is the most populated city among the other cities. And Southern Island, they say, is very, very, literally empty actually. Plenty of options to stay and plenty of options to look for. Again, Auckland is the most popular city there, followed by Waikato, Wellington, uh, Canterbury, Invercargill, Gisborne, and a lot of other Christchurch and a lot of other places. Then New Zealand is very famous for health sciences, especially nursing, and they're very popular for IT and management and agriculture, dairy farming, viticulture, these kind of courses. They are also good for adventure sports because they are the ones who brought bungee jumping and other water sports to the world. So New Zealand is a very fresh country, very clean, very safe, and beautiful courses. There are only 8 universities in New Zealand, and the others are polytechnics or private education providers. Universities have two intakes, that is February and September. Some of them have started the July intakes also. Colleges and polytechnics every 3 months. No application fees actually. All the three exams like IELTS, TOEFL, and PT are accepted. They have happy with 3-year and 4-year degrees. They have no problem. Again, I've written masters for 2 years, but here there is no restriction like that. Even if you do a 1-year masters, you get a post-study work permit. 15 to 20 days is the turnaround time. Here also they have their own panel of doctors, and LORs are not required for polytechnics, but universities ask for LORs, and there are no proper deadlines actually, but you can still apply even 2 months before the start date if you think that you have everything ready with you. Any questions here, sir? Any questions?
No.
Sir, in your experience, how popular is New Zealand as a destination among Indian students?
New Zealand is not popular, sir, because there are reasons actually. Because they are very strict with visas. They conduct a horrible interview, and they're very strict with entry requirement, and they're very strict with funds also. So these two things, deter a lot of people in trying to go to New Zealand. And they want continuous education and fresh students actually, not 5-year gap, 6-year gap. They don't encourage all these kind of students.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
That is why you will not find any controversies with New Zealand, sir, unlike other countries. They're very strict, they're very safe, and they're very straight.
Okay.
There was for a long period it was not open after the COVID, no? So
Yes,
how
sir, they
is
have their own restrictions. So it is up to their country to allow anybody to get in or get out. So
Yeah,
we cannot question that.
no. Now how is the position? That's what I was
No,
asking.
sir. Recently also I have sent students to New Zealand.
Okay, so now it's open.
Yeah. From more than 1 year it is open, sir.
Okay, I'm
Students
not.
are going.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Only thing you have to make sure your profile is very good, your IELTS is good, your academics are good, and you have good communication skills so that you don't flatter during the interviews. You give correct responses and your funds are good.
Okay, so basically anybody going for a study abroad is uh, to get a stay back over there. Like after post study, they get a job and they can settle down over there. That is the usual trend that is.
That is the Indian mentality, sir. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
What they are asking you to come is to come and study and go back.
Yeah, of course.
But they have given you an opportunity to stay back. But then it should be the straight, correct way to stay back.
Yeah, but how are the opportunities in New Zealand right now? That is what my question is.
Plenty, sir. If you go on the right kind of course, then there are opportunities. Just now, let me tell you, I will take an MBA for in New Zealand, and I finished my MBA. I'm looking for a job, and see, I'm an outsider who is an international student looking for a job actually, and no local employer will make me sit on somebody's head locally. So what I'll do is I'll get a supervisor's job. Isn't it?
Yeah.
No, hypothetically, if you look at the case now, when I'm doing a supervisory job and I'm applying for PR because I got a job, the assessment officer also sees this person is overqualified for this position, is underpaid. So why should I give a PR?
Okay.
So problems like this happen. So students don't think about these after effects. They just want to jump into any course, just do it and just do anything. And then they'll start blaming everybody because they didn't get it. They're not thinking technically why they didn't get it.
So you advise for 2 years good management course, right?
I will advise always to look at the shortage skills and then get into the programs. Even in the management, there are a lot of other programs which are in demand actually, not MBA. They already have a lot of managers. Why an extra manager from?
Okay.
I
Can you advise the courses if you take, for example, any other course?
Plenty,
Can you
sir.
give
Like
example?
you have data science, you have business analytics, you have nursing, you have other professions like engineering. All those are there.
I think even a lot of consultants also are misguiding students just to get the application and get the process done.
I want my commission, sir. What happens to the student, I'm not bothered.
Yeah, that is what is happening.
That is the wrong way of doing it, sir. When either you don't call yourself a counselor, you call yourself an agent.
Yeah, that's true.
This
Um,
happens a lot.
I understand that you're sitting here to make money, sir. Not that we're not trying to make money. We have to do that at least little ethically.
Yeah.
But the students also believe more in the agents rather than the counselor, because counselor also says sometimes he says no. So then the student doesn't like to say here and no.
Correct, sir. That is the student mentality. They don't know the after effects of saying no. We are trying to give them a caution and then give them a best option, but they don't. They just want to jump into it, and tomorrow get into a trouble.
Yes.
So partly it is their mistake also,
Yeah. Thank you.
because you're going to two people. One person says no, this is not the route. You need to do this and then get into it so that it will help you in the future. No, he wants instant results. So the other agent says no, you get into it. You will have it will happen. He jumps into it.
So you will be covering post-study work permits and post-study staybacks and all those OPTs and whatever it is there in this session only, right? Later.
Please allow me,
For
ma'am. I'll do
each
it.
country specific,
Don't
right?
worry. Don't worry.
Yeah, just wanted to confirm because people started talking about that, so I was just thinking.
When I get questions, I keep answering it, ma'am. So I think that's
Yeah, I agree. But we will be discussing that during the admission process and visa applications, right?
yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Now, New Zealand's qualifications are divided into different levels, actually, what they call. They have categorized it into different levels. So, this is the summary of that level. Diplomas, they categorize it under level 5 and 6. Bachelor's degree, level 7. Graduate certificate or graduate diplomas in level 7. Bachelor's honors degree, that is 4-year bachelor's, into level 8. Postgraduate certificates or postgraduate diplomas into level 8. And master's, level 9. Doctoral programs, level 10. So this is how they categorize their education qualifications. So any course that you see or search in New Zealand will have this level in the bracket indicating what qualification it belongs to. So this is just an indicator of how their qualifications are classified. Okay. So this is just a map to show you the institutions: Northland, Hamilton, Bay of Plenty, Wellington, Christchurch, Invercargill. These are popular places where students go, and some of the places where these universities and institutions are also located. Auckland, University of Auckland, Auckland University of Technology, Massey University, University of Otago, University of Waikato. These are very popular universities with the Indian population, actually. We are moving on to Singapore. Singapore, again, a very developed country, which is very famous for tourism and hospitality, and also for logistics. Now, Singapore being a major hub for tourism and hospitality, those kind of courses thrive happily. And it is also a business hub or a transportation hub between the east and the west. So the port is also very popular and hugely uh, busy. So supply chain logistics also work a lot here. And Singapore being a tax-free place, a lot of companies have their own offices in Singapore basis. So it becomes a very lucrative place in terms of hospitality and tourism courses, management courses, and supply chain management courses. Now, Singapore, being a very small country, does not manufacture anything in itself or does not grow anything. Everything is brought from outside. And the other way around on the education sector, they are very top. They have some of the best universities in the world, also among the top 100 in the world. One of them is the National University of Singapore. The other one is the Nanyang Technological University. They have Singapore Institute of Technology and Singapore Management University. These are some of the famous top institutions that are among the top 100 in the world. Now, these institutions work exactly like their US counterparts. They want GRE, GMAT, they want SAT, they want English language and everything. But there are also universities and institutions from other countries like US, UK, New Zealand, Australia, UK. All these countries have their colleges also based in Singapore, that which they offer the same kind of courses. Now, Singapore has a lot of private colleges also, which are monitored by the Ministry of Education, who also offer diplomas and bachelor's and postgraduate diplomas. Some of them also offer masters in affiliation with the UK, US, or other country universities. Then there is one special thing with Singapore is that you can apply to certain institutions without IELTS or GMAT or GRE. If you're an English medium student, then you can apply to Singapore without an English language program. But all the big universities which I was talking about requires the same requirements as their US counterparts. And the other negative or the minus part with the US is, Singapore does not give you any post-study work permit, or you cannot work part-time in Singapore. These are two factors which are a little setback for Singapore, but education-wise, it's one of the best. Universities, two intakes, February and September. That is I'm talking about Nanyang, NUS, and other ones. Colleges and polytechnics have intakes every 3 months or every 6 months sometimes. They charge application fee, whether private, small, big, low, they charge application fees. Here, you need IELTS, TOEFL, PT, or most of the private institutions accept you without IELTS also. Big universities, which I was talking about, requires 4-year degrees. They don't accept 3-year degrees. But the other institutions from other countries also accept 3-year and 4-year degrees. Masters are for 2 years because they follow the other countries' curriculums. 15 to 20 days is the turnaround time. And there are no deadlines actually for the small private universities, but those big universities have deadlines. They have the same kind of deadlines that US universities work, like the early bird deadline, the regular deadlines. You can even apply 2 months before the start date if you have the funds and documents ready with you to apply. To the private universities I'm talking about, not to the public ones. Any questions here, sir?
In the examination, there will be a lot of questions from these areas.
Let's talk about it later, sir. Let's not digress. We'll come to that.
Because it's a too heavy subject for a new person, so that's the reason I was just asking.
Even I also started new only, sir.
Fine, thank you.
Any other questions relevant to this, please? No?
No, sir.
No.
Okay. We are moving on to Germany. Now, as you know, Germany is very popular. It's one of the biggest countries in Europe, has the highest GDP, and is very well known in terms of products. It's got the highest number of Nobel laureates in Europe, actually, and it's also called the land of innovation or the land of ideas. And Germany is also known as the Mecca of mechanical engineering. If you notice, or if you have seen or heard of, some of the best brands from the in the world are from Germany. Volvo, BMW, Audi, Volkswagen. So all these are famous from Germany. And Germany, as a specialty, offers free education in their public universities to international students. And if you're looking at the map, at the bottom of the map, there is one state called the Baden-Württemberg. Stuttgart as its capital. Now, this state has started charging tuition fees of 1,500 euros per semester to international students. But all the other states are free of charge in their public universities, but private universities charge. And when I'm talking about public universities, I'm talking about technical programs which are given free of charge or has tuition-free programs. If the same university is running a management program, it may be paid. Okay. Now has two major intakes, winter and summer, that is March and September. Now, entry into a bachelor's requires 13 years of education. 12 is not enough for German admissions into bachelor's. You need 13 years of education. Now, if you're looking at bachelor's in Germany, first thing you need to note is German bachelor's program are completely taught in German language. So in order to enter into Germany, you need German language proficiency. So for that, you need to learn German till the B1 level, take the APS service, get the documents evaluated. Next is do the test as exam, qualify and enter the student collect program or the foundation program to satisfy 13 years of education. If you don't want to do that, there are other way down, like you need to do a 1-year diploma in India or a 1-year BSc program in India or do a 1-year language program. But doing all this will not help you get into a good university or a public university because you might not be proficient with the German language or might not be able to get set with the education system of Germany. It's very tough. So we rather advise students to take the student collect program or the foundation program. So they don't charge you any application fees. Like I said, if the application is routed through UniAssist or the evaluation provider, then there is a 75 euros charge for the application. And like US, they also had a system where you need to courier all the documents to the universities once you start the application. But now it is put on hold because of COVID. So they might come back with that in case things move on to the other end. Now, Germany accepts only TOEFL and IELTS as their requirement for English language. Some courses which may have 5 to 10% or 20% of German content might ask you to learn German language up to B1 level or B2 level. And again, like US, Germany accepts only 4-year degrees. But please note, I have sent 3-year degree students even to Germany if the academics are excellent and they take on an exceptional case. Here, masters are divided into 1 year, 1.5 year, and 2 years. Now, 2 years means 4 semesters, 1.5 is 3 semesters, and 1 year is 2 semesters. Now, please note, if you're applying to German public universities for free education, please note that your academic percentage must be 80% and above. If it is below that, they will not give you an admit. 30 to 45 days is the turnaround time once you submit the applications. Here also, just like GIC in Canada for living expenses, there is something called spur konto or blocked account that you need to show the German embassy. It's called the blocked account. You need to show them 11,208 euros as your 1-year living expenses before you can apply for your visa. And as I said, Germany gives you free education. And here, most of the management programs might require work experience because they are made for working professionals. Any questions, yes?
Could you just repeat what can be done for admissions in bachelor's if the student has only 12 years of education? What are the courses, bridging courses or the foundation courses we can
It's not
take?
courses, it is the level of education that you require. After the
Okay.
10+2, you either do a 1-year diploma in a relevant field that you're planning to go, or you do a
In
1-year,
India?
yes, sir,
Okay.
or you do a 1-year
Or-
BSc
Hmm.
to make it 13 years, or
Okay.
you do a 1-year language program to make it 13
Okay.
years.
Okay, language program could be in Germany or in India.
They used to accept admissions for German classes in Germany, actually. I have sent students, but of
Okay.
late in the past 2 years, they're not giving visas because students started misusing that route.
Okay, got it.
So they're not giving visas for language courses when they say that the same language courses are available in India. So please complete it here and then go.
Okay.
And
Okay.
another exception is if you have a JEE advanced results, which is qualified, then you can directly get into a bachelor's program without 13 years of education.
Okay. JEE advanced
Yes.
qualification.
You need to be
Okay.
qualified in India with JEE Advanced.
Okay. So any cutoff on that?
That depends on the year, sir.
Okay.
Any questions? I used to do some Germany applications, and mostly the courses asked, they would ask, these many credits required for eligibility. Can you put some light on that?
Ma'am, let me tell you one thing. Except for the 4-year degrees, our credits do not match. Most of the countries actually. So it is given on the academic percentage by the universities, but certain courses require certain number of credits to qualify because they are more into research actually. The programs are more research content oriented. So that is why they ask for credits. And they also want to know how many hours you have spent on a particular subject. So for example, if they're talking about one credit, it is about 14 hours or 16 hours of classes that you spend for one credit in a particular subject. That is how they calculate it.
Okay, so when we are doing that APS, even in our 3-year or a 4-year degree, these credits are measured accordingly, right? To match.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to confirm.
Because otherwise, sometimes if they don't even understand that, they will ask you for the syllabus of the program to be sent to them. So they go through that and then decide.
Yeah, because it becomes very difficult to explain to the parent and the student also why the credit and why it is not matching and what is happening.
No, why it's not matching? The simple argument is, ma'am, the education system is different. Our credits are different and their credits are different.
Even when you do a 4-year degree, sometimes the credits may not match for the research degree, right?
Correct, ma'am.
So they require 270 or 240 credits. And generally, our degree programs are 180 credits.
Yes, ma'am. 180 or 160 actually. So
Yeah.
what you need to do is send the syllabus to them so they might get convinced.
Okay.
Because they want to see what is the exposure of the students in certain subjects, in the practicals, in the theory, and how many times and how many hours they have spent on that. That is what they're looking at.
Similarly, if after 12th, a student has done a 1-year polytechnic course or a degree, 1-year admission in bachelor's, he has taken in a regular institute or whatever in technical field, and then he wants to go and start his bachelor's. So is that counted as 13 years of education?
Yes, ma'am. That is what I just told now.
So even if the polytechnic course they've done here.
That is what I said, diploma.
Okay.
Any other questions? Sir?
You just repeat the amount for the blocked account, 11,000 something euros, right?
We'll come to that, ma'am. I just mentioned it. I'll mention it individually for all these things. Don't worry.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So these are some of the few of the top universities that you can see in Germany. And if you can notice again, it is the name of the place. So if you know the place names in Germany, you know the university names. I know it's a little tongue twisting, but still, I think most of the names are a little easy. Munich, Aachen, Berlin, Karlsruhe, Stuttgart, Duisburg, Essen, Hanover, Freiburg, all these are place names. So if you know 10 place names, you can know 10 university names. It holds the same for most of the countries also, I think. So that's one way of remembering university names in different countries. Okay. We're coming to France. France, again, a very popular destination, has been closely working with India, politically also. And after Modi's 2 visits, the 1-year post-study work permit was initially extended to 2 years, and now they have added the extension of another 3 years to students. So literally 5 years of post-study work permit is being offered by France, depending on the course and the student's profile. Now, France is the only country which gives you paid internships as part of the course. It's mandatory and it is paid. And France is the only country that gives you 40% subsidy in accommodation. And France allows you to work 20 hours for part-time by default. So France is a very popular destination for hotel management, hospitality, business management, retail, banking, accounting, fashion, cinematography, and photography, and those kind of courses. So students looking to look at, options for getting into management programs or any other technical programs can also look at France. France is also a very good destination for engineering too, because France is a pioneer in aerospace. So that also is very popular with France. Now, in France, when you're talking about France, there are two kinds of institutions here. There are public universities which constantly monitor or mostly concentrate on domestic students. International students also can apply, but very few seats for them, probably 12 to 13 seats per program. That's the most that you get in public universities in France, because they mainly cater to domestic students, and most of the programs are taught in French language. So has two major intakes, actually winter and spring, that is March and September. Normally they don't charge you application fee except for a few. Now, international students can look at another kind of education system in France called the Grande École. It's a French word which means universities or institutions of higher education, similar to universities. But the difference is Grand Écoles are very flexible and they accept students even with low percentage. Even students with 55% can get into a Grand École for a good program. So they offer management, business, accounting, engineering, and all kinds of programs to international students. And 90% of the students look at Grand Écoles for their admissions. TOEFL and IELTS is not required, but required by public universities. They also require GRE and GMAT also for admissions. But Grand Écoles are a little flexible in terms of fees, in terms of entry requirements, and in terms of percentage. So they accept 3-year and 4-year degrees also. Masters can be 1 year, 1.5 years, and 2 years, depending on the experience and the student's degree. 55% also can get into a decent university in a Grand École. 10 to 15 days is the turnaround time. Because you're applying without English, a lot of Grand Écoles conduct, or most of the Grand Écoles conduct a Skype video or a telephonic interview before they can give you an admit. And most of the management programs do not require work experience because you can get in as a fresher also. And you don't have to have French knowledge, because all the programs that are taught in Grand Écoles are for international students and they are fully taught in English language. Any questions here?
So if the student has given IELTS or TOEFL, so will the interview still happen, the Skype interview?
They just conduct a Skype interview to make sure that they're talking to the right student, the right candidate,
Okay.
and to check the communication skills of the students.
Okay.
Any other questions? No?
Management courses are also good in France.
Yes, sir. Some of the universities or colleges are triple accredited and they carry a lot of value.
Sir, hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I got an inquiry from a student for the France.
Mhm.
Yeah, like he has three specific universities like HEC Business School and Inside Business and University of Luxembourg.
Okay.
So do we charge any application fee for this?
University of Luxembourg is not in France, sir. It is in Luxembourg.
Okay. Yeah. Student has requirements from these three universities.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So from these three applications, do they have any?
And what is the student's percentage, sir?
Sorry?
What is the student's percentage?
He has bachelor's degree from BBA. He is around 68%.
HEC will not give it for 68%, sir.
Okay. What is the minimum requirement for HEC, sir?
They look at 80% and above.
Okay, sir. For the other two, sir?
University of Luxembourg, he might be able to get into because they will conduct an interview also.
Okay.
And University of Luxembourg is a public university and they're the only university in Luxembourg. And
Okay.
they don't give you tie-ups. And April 31 is the deadline.
April 31, sir?
Yes, sir.
And what about Inside Business School, sir? Inside Business School of France?
INSEAD also is very big, sir. 68 and all will not work with their gate at all.
Okay.
They are big business schools, sir. You need GMAT also for that, for them to get
GMAT.
into.
Okay. Okay, sir.
650 plus is what they look at normally.
Okay, sir. Done. Thank you.
Any other questions, sir? For his percentage, there are good business schools in France where you can get triple accredited courses actually.
Sorry?
There are good business schools in France where he can get into for his score,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're triple accredited, so he doesn't have to worry about value.
Okay. So do France charge application fees like what is the percentage, sir? Like how many universities, like 80% or 50%? Like how many percentage universities will accept the application fees?
No, sir. Most of them don't have application fee, but some of them, big business schools accept application fee. It'll be around 100 euros.
Got it, sir.
And if we don't have tie-up like Luxembourg and INSEAD and HEC, then we'll have
Okay.
to charge them process fees.
Okay. So if the student require for that, if he want the specific university, so the what's the process, sir? Will we get any touch with them?
That's what. So we'll have to charge them process fees.
Okay, we can make the even though we can make the process, right?
Yeah. But what
Okay.
I'm telling is, I know by experience that these percentages do not get entry, and you need 650 plus GMAT.
Got it, sir.
And I think HEC and NCED have already cleared their deadlines, sir,
Okay,
for September.
done. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. I'll look into. Okay, thank you, sir.
Any other questions, sir? So can I continue?
Yes.
So these blue dots show you the locations where institutions are available in France: Paris, Strasbourg, Lille, Nantes, Rennes, Marseille. All these places are where, universities and institutions are located, where students normally look at to get admitted into. So we're coming to Ireland. Ireland, again, a very small country, not part of UK. Please note, Ireland is a sovereign socialist republic which is outside the UK, and they are also very good for IT, business, pharmaceuticals, and medical health. Nursing is very popular with Ireland, and there are a few universities in Ireland which are very popular to Indian students, and they're very strict with funds and they're very strict with visa. They're very strict with admissions also. If you have 65% above, they look at giving you admits into different programs like data science, IT, computer science, engineering, pharmaceutical, pharmacology, pharmacokinetics. All these programs are popular with them. To look at the specifications, they have two major intakes, January and some of them have summer intakes also. January and September is their major intakes. No application fees except a few. TOEFL, IELTS, and PT is accepted. They have no problem with 3 or 4 year degrees. Masters can be for 1 to 2 years, and percentage 65% and above. 10 to 15 is their turn time. Here also medicals are required. Here also they require an SOP and LORs to universities. They work on strict deadlines, and it's fully taught in English. Any questions, yes?
So regarding the financials in Ireland, we have to do we have to show the suppose the course is for 3 years for bachelor's, we have to show complete 3 year funding.
No, sir. You can show around 1.5 years or 2 years, and it should be
Okay.
6 months old.
Okay. Mhm.
Otherwise, there is something called Euro bonds which you can take. That is also possible. So it is more guaranteed for admission actually.
Okay. Euro bonds.
Yes.
Okay.
So these are few popular universities that are very popular with the Indian students actually. The Ulster Queen's, Dublin College, the Trinity College Dublin, the University College Dublin, the University College Cork, Open University, the University of Limerick, National University of Ireland, Galway, Maynooth. A lot of big universities like that, which are very popular with the Indian students. So similarly, countries in Europe can also be processed from Portugal to Finland. All the countries are possible. Portugal, Spain, Norway, Sweden, Finland, Belgium, Austria, Denmark, Poland, Lithuania, Latvia, Slovenia, Slovakia. All these countries give you beautiful universities with beautiful courses, which are low fee actually, because they are all public universities. But unfortunately, Indian students don't target them because they don't want to go there. Norway and Finland, like I told you yesterday, has only one intake in a year. and they're already closed for the September 24 intake. Any questions here?
So are we going to study the processes in niche colleges, specifically in Poland and these colleges or these countries?
College
Yeah,
process
okay.
is the same, sir.
Okay.
They don't differ. Only entry requirements differ.
Okay.
Okay. Like I said, these are all the countries that we can always process, provided the student is rightly eligible and has all the requirements and prerequisites met. So can we take a break for 5 minutes?
Yes, sir. We can.
Yes.
Yes, sir. We'll take a break for 5 minutes. I'll come back. Hello? Hello?
Yes,
Is
sir.
everybody
Available.
there?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So let's continue.
Yes.
So we were talking about Europe actually. So you need to know a few more things about Europe process actually. So there is a process called apostle to be done for international students or Indian students going to different countries in Europe. Now this process is not required for France and Germany, but for all the other countries it is required. Now the requirement and the reason is there is something called a Hague Convention where India is also a signatory to the other 180 countries along with them. And they have decided that in any case, there is a student who is applying from India to these European countries to authenticate their certificates as genuine, they must get this apostle done. Now, this process is handled by different agents in India. So you can approach the nearest agent and get it done. It's a paid process. It goes to the Ministry of External Affairs to get stamped actually ultimately once the verification is done. So that process is called apostle. So there is a process for it. You cannot run from pillar to post to get this done. It will be difficult. So there are a lot of agents in India who do it. In case you find it difficult, you can approach me. I can help you out. And along with the apostle, there are certain documents like the medical certificate and police clearance certificate, which is required for certain countries, which needs to be translated and apostilled also. So that is one more extra requirement. And sorry, we always encourage students to, learn one of these languages, either French, Spanish, or German, to make sure they find their academic and social life a bit easier than the other students. So that is what we recommend. Any questions here, sir? No questions? Can I move?
No, sir. Yes, sir.
When you're talking about Europe, we also need to understand two things, that there are two entities in Europe with the non-European member states and the European member states. Now, there is something called Schengen in Europe. There are only two types of visas in Europe. That is, one is called the Schengen visa or the C visa as it's called. The other one is called the national visa or the D visa. Now, students going abroad for studies normally get the D visa or the national visa, which is valid for 365 days. And people going on a tourist visa or a business visa or travel visa get a Schengen visa for 90 days validity. Now, you need to understand there are certain things that you need to keep in mind when you're looking at Schengen visas. Now, Schengen is an agreement that was made between member countries in Europe to make sure a lot of border processes are abolished and you can travel to all these 27 states on a single visa. So that is what a Schengen visa is called. Anything marked in orange are European countries which are part of the Schengen visa. That means you travel to all these countries on a single visa. Now, countries like Iceland, Norway, and a few countries are not part of the Schengen, even though they are part of the EU. Okay, there are a lot of members who are, even though they are not EU, they are member states like Romania and all these countries. So you need to know that anybody traveling to these countries on a Schengen visa should not cross the border so that their visas get void. So students or people traveling to these countries can travel to all these 27 countries on a single visa. That's Schengen. Any idea what is Schengen? No?
With the Schengen visa, you can travel up to the Schengen countries without, you can cross the borders without any hassle. I mean, you don't require another visa to go from one country to another.
Correct, sir. That is technical requirement. What I'm asking about, what is the name Schengen means? Any idea?
No, that I don't.
Now, Schengen
No
is
idea.
an, pardon?
No, sir. No, sir. No idea.
Okay, Schengen is a name of a small village between Germany and Luxembourg where this treatment or treaty was signed actually, or the agreement was signed. That's why it was named Schengen. Okay, this is just for information. So please
So,
note there are, yes,
just
sir.
a question. Switzerland is a non-EU Schengen member state.
Yes, sir. It's not Schengen, but non-membered.
Okay.
There are a lot of countries who
So,
have applied already, sir. So there are a lot of countries getting added to it. Only thing it is time that makes it into the
mm,
Schengen states. There may be
mm,
around 30 to 32 in future actually. So a lot of countries have applied
okay.
to for the Schengen membership. So it's in the pipeline.
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
So there are a lot of other upcoming countries also which are coming up as future destinations for studying, like Japan, South Korea, Taiwan,
Mhm.
Hong Kong, Malaysia. So there are student inquiries uh, which give you options. And but please note these countries require language, SAT, IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, GMAT for their programs depending on the subject. You need to fulfill all these things.
Mhm.
You need the local language also.
Okay. So, do you need a certification for of the
Yes, sir.
local language?
They have their own
Okay.
certifications.
Okay. Okay.
And I was talking to you about pathway programs. So these are few of the pathway programs to mention. ELICOS and ELP are two pathway programs which are right now not available for Australia and USA. It was there, but tomorrow if it comes back, it should be a surprise again. So I have mentioned it here. It is nothing but the English language bridging program. If you have a shortage in IELTS or something like that, they might give you a language program, bridging program, and then move you on to the main program. So that is ELICOS and ELP in Australia and US. Student colleague, as we discussed a few uh, minutes ago, it's the foundation program, and US has associate degrees to get into bachelor's, and for masters in Australia, you have something called graduate diploma if you don't fulfill the prerequisites for a master's program.
Okay.
There's also conversion degree in UK, sorry.
Pardon?
There's also for master's conversion degree in UK.
That's pre-masters and foundation program.
Yeah. But it is in UK, not mentioned.
I think I already mentioned during the UK process.
No, I did not hear you talking about conversion.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I already mentioned it during the UK process, which I was discussing.
So for Malaysia, also we need Malay language to be learned, right?
No, sir. There are universities which teach you in English.
Okay. Since you mentioned, I asked.
Yeah, no issues.
Yes. Thank you.
Somebody asked me about the cutoffs. Bachelor's, you need 6 overall with no band less than 5.5. Masters, 6.5 overall with no band less than 6. Now, nursing, medical courses, or other programs might require higher scores depending on their requirement. So, several programs might have or require higher scores actually. So, universally, these are the scores that are required: 6 for bachelor's and 6.5 for masters. Okay. Now, SAT, the minimum acceptable score is 1300 plus if you want to get into a decent university. But you can start with 1180 or 1200 plus to give you an admit. GRE, it should be 300 plus out of 340. And GMAT, 550 to 650 plus out of 800. Any questions here?
Sir, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
A bit unrelated to this slide. Can you tell me something about the common application form?
That's a portal there actually to
Yeah,
apply. It's a
yeah.
common,
So,
just
I
like
just wanted to know the difference between, say, suppose you apply through portals or through common application. What is the basic difference between both?
no, sir. What happens is universities have their
Mhm.
individual portals where you can apply directly.
Okay. Mhm.
Common App is one third-party application which has come together with most of the universities under one umbrella. Just like UCAS in
Okay.
UK, where you apply to different universities, in Common App
Okay.
also you can apply it at one place. That's
Okay.
the
So,
basic
but it's not compulsory to apply only
No,
through
sir.
common app.
It's not compulsory.
But
You can apply
okay, but
directly
it's
also.
okay, but it's compulsory for UK. UCAS, you have to
UK,
compulsory.
UCAS is compulsory, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
We were looking at a allied group of academic institutions yesterday. For one of the group was Ivy League that we discussed yesterday. So some of the best universities in US, the Ivy League, which is a group of 8 universities, have come together to make the Ivy League. Now, if you look at UK, you have something called Russell Group. 24 research universities have come together to form the Russell Group. Now, when I'm discussing this allied group of academic institutions, there's one common factor among all these groups and countries and universities. They are all research-based universities, and they are public universities. That's a common factor. So 24 public research-intensive universities have come together to form the Russell Group in UK. So if you see the names, they're all big names: Cambridge, Oxford, King's, Imperial, the LSE, Queen Mary, Nottingham, Warwick, UCL. All these are big names actually. In Germany, similarly, you have something called TO9. So 9 technical universities have come forward to create a group called TO9. They're very powerful, and they are also public research universities. Aachen, Berlin, Braunschweig, Darmstadt, Dresden, Linz, Karlsruhe, München, and Stuttgart. Similarly, in Australia, you have something called G8. It's called the Group of 8. Uni Melbourne, ANU, Sydney, Queensland, Monash, UNSW, UWA, and University of Adelaide make the G8 or Group 8 of Australia. So even if you see in Australia, the top 8 universities are part of G8. China has something called C9. It's called the C9 group of universities, C9 league schools as they call it. 9 top universities have come together to form the C9. And if you've heard of Peking University, it's called the Harvard of China. So they're all big universities, top universities, which give a lot of preference to research, and basically they are research-based universities. They have their own endowments, their funding, their resources, and criteria to take in students. Ma'am, have I cleared all the groups?
Yes, sir, but Korea and Japan also have very top-notch universities, premium elite.
Yeah, we are not covering that one because normally we don't get students or we don't do that.
Yeah, but then we do Singapore, Korea, and Japan. Very common. And sir, we have not covered Middle East.
No, ma'am, we don't cover Middle East.
UAE,
No,
Dubai, and all.
no, ma'am, we normally don't do. If there is applications, we definitely do.
Yeah, so we will not be getting training for Dubai.
It's as the same UK process because the universities there are similar to where you are from UK and Australia itself.
Yeah, but it's a pretty hot destination.
Yeah.
And specifically because there are courses where you get 1 year in Dubai and next 1 year in UK or in Europe?
That you get it in Singapore also, ma'am.
Yeah, same way, no?
Yeah.
So we are not covering Dubai.
So these are all exchange programs that are there. So whether it's in Dubai or in Singapore, you can do it if you join into a university.
We're not doing Dubai, Japan, and Korea.
No, ma'am, not now.
So for Chinese, we required any Chinese language.
No, sir. They're all English taught programs which normally take students from India.
Okay.
Not to Chinese programs, except that PG programs are probably in Mandarin Chinese, but MBBS is in English only.
Okay.
But ultimately, if you want to survive there and practice and settle down there, then you need to learn Chinese.
Will we be doing medical separately as a medical counseling for medical admissions? No.
No, ma'am. We have we have a write-up for that. We send it to you.
Okay, fine.
With the eligibility requirements and all that.
Yeah. For medical admissions specifically.
Yes, ma'am. We have that. We send it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
So this is a screen which I'm showing for average fees per annum actually. Now these are approximate fees, and please note every country every year has 7% increase in fees every year. So the fees keeps changing. This is just an approximate fees to give you a range to give you or talk to students when you're counseling. Okay.
Germany is free, right? But then there are private universities in Germany also that charge.
Yes, ma'am.
Apart from the land, that is the Britain, whatever. Except for that, also there are other universities which do charge fees, right? So we have not given that approximation.
That's what I said while doing the German process, that public universities do not charge, but private universities charge. And we're looking at scholarship, one of the major sectors which students normally ask for, whether they qualify, don't qualify, everybody wants a scholarship. Now scholarships here are what I am listing here or discussing here is nothing but third-party scholarships. Sometimes it is connected to the university or sometimes independent. Now these third-party scholarships have their own websites, their own deadlines, their own entry criteria, and their own funding. So in case the student is interested, must see whether they get eligible to get into these scholarships and they can apply. Now, I only mentioned a handful of universities and scholarships here because of space constraint. There are even more huge number of scholarships available across the globe. So a few to name to give you an idea of what kind of scholarships are available. To study anywhere in the world, in Lakshya Udasli Foundation scholarship is available from India. To study in Asia, from India, you have the Aichi scholarships for Japan, the A-Star from Singapore, the Hendricks scholarship from Hong Kong, the Kings and Queens scholarship from Thailand, and Silk Road scholarships from Seoul, South Korea. And it's only a part of that. Australia similarly has a lot of scholarships from University of Adelaide, University of New South Wales, and University of Queensland. Now, to study in Europe, there is something called Erasmus Mundus. It's the biggest scholarship program available in the world, and it covers the whole globe actually for scholarships, and hugely highly competitive scholarship program. Very few seats for depending on the country. So country-wise, they've allocated so many scholarships. So depending on that, depending on the population of the country, they have equally distributed these scholarships. So it's very difficult to get the Erasmus Mundus, but if you get, the whole thing is completely free of charge. Similarly, you have the UCD scholarships from Ireland, the Orange Tulip scholarship from Netherlands, the Chapak scholarships from France, DAT scholarships from Germany. The UK and US probably have the highest number of scholarships that are offered to students. And if you can see the list, they have British Council scholarships, the Charles Wallace, Harriet Watt, LSE's Commonwealth scholarships, the Agatha Harrison, the Saltire scholarships, the Ratan Tata scholarships, Dhirubhai Ambani scholarships. So plenty of scholarships like this in UK and US. So you can see the huge number actually.
I would like to say here that all UK universities usually have scholarships for Indian students, some or the other, ranging between £1,000 to £10,000. one
is
or the
there,
other
ma'am.
scholarship is applicable.
Yeah, that depends on the merit also again, ma'am. And some
Yeah,
are
yeah.
early bird scholarships or flat discounts given to
Yeah,
students who
flat,
apply.
Commonwealth scholarship,
Yes.
flat scholarships for Indian students, university excellence, university merit, vice chancellor scholarship for students. So usually an
Exactly.
Indian student, if they are 60% above, they generally get a scholarship of £1,000 to £10,000, depending upon, of course, the university. And the
Yeah. But you have to apply at the right time to get the
yeah,
scholarships.
correct.
Because every scholarship has deadlines and their own entry criteria. They might ask you for a small essay as why they should give you a scholarship also sometimes.
You have sometimes for Europe, you have scholarship interview also.
Yeah. So that's how scholarships work and purely based on merit. So
Right.
students, if interested, can try for these scholarships and make use of the facilities.
See, in Europe, I would like to add here for other counselors' benefit. In Europe, generally undergraduate scholarships are not available. But if you're going to countries like Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Baltic Sea countries like Slovakia and Belarus and all, what you get is sometimes more than 50% to 80% if you're a 90% above. The whole thing is funded. Very few scholarships, but you do get.
Ma'am, all these
Usually
countries,
otherwise.
yeah, all these countries, I don't think you should worry about scholarship because the fees itself is too low.
Yeah, even that, see, scholarship is always a benefit, sir.
I understand, ma'am,
Even
but
whether it is low. So even if you have a meritorious student who cannot afford even 4 lakhs or 3 lakhs fees, and they're able to manage, and he's a 94%, you can still get into Netherlands, or you can still get into Hungary, or, Debrecen or whatever.
all
With
the universities have
scholarship.
their own scholarship.
Yeah, you get scholarships. It's not like there are no scholarships.
So let's see what happens once your offer letter comes, which is called the post-admission service. Now, once the offer letter comes, you know that you know where you're going, which college, which course, which program, which country. So there are a lot of things that needs to be done once the post-admission services happen. That is, we need to communicate to the university regarding a lot of procedures, accepting offers, enrollment procedures, registration procedures, sending them any balance documents, fee payments. And this is the time, students approach banks for loans with the conditional or unconditional offer letters. They start arranging for fees and living expenses. Parents start arranging for funds, follow-up mails being sent to universities, and sending further documents if required. And this is the time your actual visa process also starts because now you know which university course and country that you're planning to go. So depending on that, this process starts where you need to accumulate documents and procedures for visa process. Any questions here?
There was this slide for tuition fees, right? But you did not have a slide for living costs. They also differ from country to country, right?
Wait, ma'am, wait, please wait.
Okay.
Coming to that. I don't know why you're all jumping up.
So, what kind of an assistance do we get from for these procedures? We have to do it ourselves, or do we get any assistance from?
No, sir. The concept of CCCIS is that we are your backend. So we do all these. In coordination with you because you are in direct touch with the student.
Yeah.
So we also assist you with fee payment process because most of the fee payments are now happening through the gateways that the universities are tied up with. Previously, you could have done it through the bank directly and through the account directly, which is listed on the website. Now it has to go through that particular link only, otherwise they will not accept it. So there are different gateways that different universities are tied up with. So we help you assist with that. We also assist with visa guidance. We also help students to look for education loans. We are tied up with a few loan providers like HDFC, Credila, Oxelo Finance, and other banks so that students can avail financial assistance. What you need to do is you need to forward us the student's number and location so that we send it to the respective bank where they will redirect it to the local location where the student is available and the local bank takes care of the procedure and they'll keep us in the loop to know what is happening. We can also help students with forex, travel, medical insurance, ticketing extra. But this one I would advise to do it locally because it is more quicker and faster.
All these post-admission services are optional, right?
No, ma'am. We normally do this except for the travel, medical insurance, and all that things.
Yeah,
Visa
but these
guidance
are
and all we do.
optional, right?
These are not optional.
Optional.
Which one, ma'am? Visa guidance.
If the students do not want us to do through you, they want to do it directly, they can still go ahead and do this directly, right?
Which one, ma'am, you're talking about? Which point in this?
Anything, whether it is fee payment or visa guidance or financial assistance.
Visa guidance, we are very strict, ma'am. We handle the visa procedure because we don't want to lose all the work what we have done for several months. If there is some goof up by the student, I'll give you an example. I gave the admission to a student without my knowledge. The student went ahead and took some travel agent's assistance and did a visa, and the visa went for a toss. So what happens to your commission? So all the 6 months work goes into the water.
All right. So similarly for fee payment process, we can ask the client to go through provide them the link to make the payment, right?
Correct. That is what we said. They do it from there, and we don't
But
involve.
visa guidance, basically filling up the visa forms, checking and proofreading their documents and ensuring that everything is in place. That assistance is with us, right? Has to be with us.
Visa guidance is not just filling up forms and looking at the documents. There are a lot of things to be taken care of. So let me put it very straight. It is not easy. Because every country has its own different procedures and immigration requirements. So you need to follow that.
Similarly, if they require an education loan, if they want to do it from their own side, that is acceptable, right?
I didn't get you, ma'am.
Visa guidance, you said, has to be done through you or with us, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Education loan, financial assistance, they can do it themselves, right? As long as
we are not forcing, ma'am. This is an option given to them. They can use it or not.
Right? Correct.
Yes.
So some of these are optional, some of these are mandatory with us.
Yes.
Any kind of mock interviews are done for visa interviews and all?
Yes, definitely we do that. Part-time jobs in different countries. US not legally allowed. Australia 48 hours per fortnight. New Zealand 20 hours per week. UK 20 hours per week. Canada, Germany, France, others all 20 hours per week, except for Singapore and US. You're not legally allowed to work part-time. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Living expenses. Okay. US 13,000 US dollars can vary according to the universities that you apply to. Australia 24,505 is the living expenses you need to show for a year. New Zealand 20,000 New Zealand dollars. UK 12,006 pounds if you are showing your funds for a university inside London, or 9,297 pounds outside London. Now you might ask me, what is outside London and inside London? Now UK immigration has designated 32 boroughs or areas considered inside London. So if your university is located in between or inside this 32 boroughs, then you need to show it funds as good as 12,006 pounds considering it inside London. If it is outside London, for example, if it is in Birmingham, Coventry, Manchester, Scotland, Wales, you need to show only 9,297 pounds for the living expenses for 1 year. Canada, 20,635 is the living expenses for 1 year. Singapore, 10,000 Singapore dollars. Germany, 11,208 euros. France, 10,200 euros. Europe and others, 12,000 euros. Ireland, 10,000 euros. Any questions here?
Sir, I have one question in the previous slide. This is Venki Krishna. You said in the USA and Singapore, part-time is not allowed. And how would people try to cope up if they don't have a scholarship or anything? They can't work in some of the smaller stores and other stuff to take care of their living expenses. So that's completely not allowed in these two countries, USA and Singapore.
I said it's legally not allowed, sir.
Okay.
But as you know, thousands of students work in USA.
Right.
But if they get caught, the legal procedures I'm not discussing here because they can be deported or jailed actually.
So Are they allowed to work inside the campus, like in library, assisting the librarian or assisting the professors?
How many students can
Is
work
that
in a library? How many students will be able to work?
yeah? But is that thing legal,
That is
legally right?
also allowed only if it is part of the curriculum, sir. It's something
Okay.
called CPT, curriculum
CPT,
practical
yeah.
training. So if it is allowed
Okay.
as, if it is required as part of the course, then they can do it. Otherwise, they are not allowed to work in the university also.
Okay, sir.
But they can work as a teaching assistant, graduate assistant, or as a research assistant if they get some scholarship. Because that is one kind of a
Okay.
scholarship given. They can do that.
Yeah, okay.
But in US, is this a new law or it has been there for a long time? Because I was
Even
here.
before I was born, sir.
Oh.
But nobody looks at this law actually. But when they get caught, everybody is deported.
Okay.
Now let's see the kind of funds that are accepted for visa. Savings bank account, education loans, fixed deposits in select countries, third-party sponsors, what you call immediate family members, that is mother, father, brothers, sisters, and grandparents from both sides. Relatives or citizens in the country of travel can also do that, but it's a huge expenditure for the people who are trying to sponsor because they need to show the funds for their whole family and plus the students. So that gives them the huge burden. So that's the last thing that even embassies will, normally look at. But the best thing is the top four and from family members. So when I'm saying savings account, what is it? Savings account must be 6 months old or 3 months old, depending on the country. Education loans, there is no conditions loans that are accepted or provisional loans. It has to be a fully sanctioned education loan with proper collaterals. Now, there are a lot of banks which give non-collateral loans. That is also accepted, but there must be justification as to why the bank has given a non-collateral loan. So there will be explanations for that. Fixed deposits also considered liquid funds, must be 6 months old and 3 months old, depending on the country. And US, a lot of fixed assets, a lot of kind of assets are accepted as funds for the USA, like mutual fund shares, debentures, ESI, PF, loans, uh, LIC, insurance. All these are considered assets for USA for showing funds. Any questions, yes?
Just want to confirm, when we are showing funds, it has to be like for a bachelor's or a master's degree. If it is for the entire duration of the course, plus living cost of 1 year, not the entire 3 years, right?
Normally, we show for 1 year only. But when it comes to bachelor's, to make our visa safer, we advise students to show at least 1.5 years of funds.
Because since you said US and Singapore, they do not allow legally working part-time. So how would they manage their living funds? So we have to show
That
some source of income of some
no,
sort.
ma'am.
So
Embassy says that you show us living expense for the duration of your course in USA. They are not worried how you're going to, work, stay, survive. The immigration says that you need to show us living expenses for 1 year or 2 years. That's what the rule says. So how you're going to survive? Then that is why every country asks you to show sufficient funds before you come to the country, not depending on the part-time work. Part-time job is only an option given on the visa, but that is not mandatory. Now, if you're showing all these kind of funds, then what should be the backup for that? Annual income of the sponsor must be 10 to 12 lakhs per annum. To show proof of this annual income, then you need to show 3 years IT returns. If business people are showing their funds, then IT returns, company incorporation documents, balance sheet, P&L, all these backup documents need to be shown to them. In case the student is showing bank statements, it has to be authenticated by the bank manager with a stamp and signature on each page. If you're showing source of funds, if it is immediate fund, then you need to show them source of funds. It can be a personal loan, it can be a mortgage, it can be a sale, but you need to show them proper source of funds. Only then it's accepted. And some countries require you to transfer funds before visa. That is, as I told you, GIC, blocked account, Euro bonds, all these are different kinds of funds that you need to transfer before you can go for the visa. So these are the various types of fund requirements for different countries. Any questions here? So these are the different kinds of blocked accounts or in advance funds that you need to show for the different countries. Germany, you need to show them blocked account. In Germany, it's called Sparkonto. Canada, it's called the GIC or the Guaranteed Investment Certificate. New Zealand, it's called the Fund Transfer Scheme. Ireland, it's called Eurobonds. And for Norway, Finland, and USA, you need to show them bank statements with savings account showing that you have adequate funds for 1 year to prove that your living expenses is intact before you can get an offer letter. Any questions here?
Sir, in Germany, the fund has to be, the account will be created even before the student travels, and then the fund will be transferred into that account.
No,
And
sir.
that
This is,
account has,
I'm talking about even before your visa is filed, you have to show this. That means even before the student even thinks about going, it has to be there.
okay. Okay.
The
And
account is
this
opened
account
and
is
then
generally created in India or it's created overseas?
they are normally created in the country that you go, sir. But recently,
Okay.
the Canadian government and the German government have allowed Kotak Mahindra and ICICI Bank to open local accounts. But then it is a tedious process where you need to deposit, then transfer it there. All that headache will be there.
Okay.
So normally we suggest them to open it in the Canadian bank or in the German bank, so it makes your procedure easier.
Okay. Got it.
Without any headaches. Post-study work permits. USA 3 years, 1 year OPT plus 2 years extended OPT for STEM-based courses. Non-STEM-based courses will get 1 year of OPT. Australia 4 to 6 years depending on the program and the region that you're going. New Zealand 2 years or 3 years. France 2 plus 3. Germany 18 months. Canada 1 year and 3 years. Ireland 2 years for masters. In Canada, the latest update is even if you do a 1 year course for certain programs, you get 3 years of stay back. UK 2 years, Denmark 3 years, others 3 months to 1 year. Any questions, yours? And please note, none of these post-study work permits are automatic. Students have to become eligible and satisfy the local conditions at the time of application. Then only they'll get post-study work permits. And it is offered only once in a lifetime. I do bachelor's, I take post-study work permit, again do master's, then take post-study work permit. No, it is only offered once in a lifetime, whatever degree you do.
Do we from Edu Milestones handle the students after this one during this period by any chance?
We don't have to, sir.
Okay, got it.
Can I move?
Yes, sir.
So we also help students with accommodation assistance. We have tie-ups with these 3 partners, University Living, Casita Number for accommodation across most of the countries. Students can take use of it. And there are certain universities, if you apply visa for on time and reach the country on time, there are certain universities, they provide airport pickups from the airport to the accommodation. So this can be availed if the student is applying on time and getting a visa on time. Okay.
Yes.
I have a question here. This
Yes,
accommodation and pickup is optional, right? If a student says I need it, we can offer saying we do have that service for you.
nowhere did I tell it is compulsory, ma'am. We offer this service, that's all.
And it's on an extra charge.
No, ma'am, we don't charge anything for accommodation assistance.
Okay. So how do they pay? They pay directly to these 2 vendors?
When the student is requesting for accommodation, ma'am, they get a
Yeah.
link, and
Okay.
once they register in that link, the providers themselves get in touch with the students, negotiate rates, and fix it for them. So it
Oh,
happens on
okay.
their level. So we don't have
All
any
right.
involvement in that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But they'll keep us informed about what the progress of the student, if in case they're taking it, living it, not decided, undecided.
Okay, sure, sure. Thank you.
So as counselors, we need to understand certain things. We cannot speak about immigration because we are not immigration advisors, or we are not licensed to speak about it. We cannot promise part-time jobs. We cannot promise employment after study, and we do not guarantee post-study work permits, because these are all student-centric decision makings at the end of the course or the program after 2 years or 1 year of the study. So we don't have any control over this. So we cannot promise anything of this. What you can do is encourage students to attend orientation so that they get to know from scratch till the end what happens with the university and admissions. Look for internships during vacations and breaks so that it can help them get into better jobs. Ask them to attend classes regularly, because lots of students fall into part-time jobs and don't attend classes regularly. So we can tell them that, we can advise them, and we can request them to abide by the law of the land so that they don't get into bad books, they don't spoil their credit history, they don't spoil their records, so that during the post-study work permit applications, they don't get into trouble. Any questions here? Nothing?
So essentially, we are saying we are helping you with the higher study. All this is post higher study. So we can guide them in it, but cannot guarantee or say anything about that. Am I right?
About, ma'am, these are facilities given to students once they study there, ma'am. So, we cannot guarantee that, because it depends on the performance of the student. Now, you would
But
have
still,
guaranteed a student a post-study work permit. Now, he's not passed out of the university. So how will you guarantee that? Tomorrow he'll come and say, madam, you told me guarantee, then I'm not getting it now.
So this is given by the university or the government? How does that work?
By the governments, ma'am, not by the university.
Okay. Okay.
All these are immigration, department
Yes.
handling. So post-study work
Yes.
permits, part-time jobs, all these are handled by the immigration, not by the university. University is only worried about your attendance and study.
Yeah, but then the students do ask, will you help our child to get post-study work? I know somebody who went, they supported. So what's the answer
No, ma'am,
there for that?
all that bahana will come, because parents will talk all these things. So
Yeah,
let's ask them a single question, ma'am. Can you guarantee a job in India for me in a month?
yeah.
Then I'll guarantee
No,
you
no.
there.
So they'll not say that we want guarantee, but we want support. How to do it? We don't know how to do it. The student doesn't
Ma'am,
know how to fill the form.
yeah.
I want an answer for that, because I
Yes,
sit a
ma'am.
lot with students and parents.
Now you are a counselor, you're sitting with a student, parent has this question.
Yeah.
Please tell them, by the time the son or daughter finishes the program, they will teach you how to fill the form.
Yes. Essentially, they should.
I'll tell you what the reason is, ma'am. Because the moment you enter into the college, the first thing that you do is step into the international admissions department, where they guide you with
Absolutely.
all these things, including opening of bank accounts, creating a social security account, trying to figure out where. And that is why we ask students to go for orientation, because that is the time they take you around the town to show you what is the local market, local place of purchase, local place of stay. They will put you across to introduction to all the faculty members in the college. They'll take you around the
Okay.
college campus. All this happens during the orientation.
Okay, fantastic.
So
Sure,
they
thank
do
you.
it. They do it.
All universities, ma'am, have international coordinators who help all the students, all international students with PSWs, with career internships and all those things. So you need to just tell the parent that the student has to be in touch with the international coordinator of his university.
They have an
Oh,
international
okay. All
admissions
right.
department. So the
Okay.
student, for anything, needs to approach the international admissions department. They will be there to
Oh,
help them out.
And all
all
these
right.
guidelines are also available on the university website.
Because that is their job in and out, actually.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Now I get the answer, no? That was what I was curious about.
Okay, ma'am. So
Thank
let's
you.
see a few case studies. These are
Sure.
real-time case studies, and the answers might vary, but the option given here is what the student took for his study. Okay, so options can be different, countries can be different. So there are various answers for a single case study, but the answer shown here is what the student took as part of his career. Okay, so we have a few case studies here. So this is a student who's looking for low budget options without IELTS or GMAT, but wants better post-study work permit. So which country can we suggest him? Any guess?
France.
Okay. Option 1. Option 2.
Germany, low budget.
UK.
You need to see the question carefully. He wants low budget, but without IELTS or GMAT. But in some countries, these are mandatory.
What about the Schengen?
Schengen, yes, ma'am. There are chances, but not everybody gives you good post-study work permit. It may be maximum 1 year, except for France, which gives you 2 years.
Singapore.
Singapore, you don't have post-study work permit, sir.
Post-study. Oh, post-study. Ireland. Ireland is also.
Ireland is not low budget, sir. France can be a good option.
France.
Because institutions offer, 1 year MBA, MS without GMAT, without IELTS, 2 years of post-study work permit, and budget starts with 8,500 euros.
So why are we not including Germany in this? Because Germany is low budget and it does give you 18 months post-study work, if
But I
I'm
cannot
not.
apply without IELTS, no?
Oh,
Can I-
really?
Can I apply without IELTS? I
Okay.
can't. IELTS is mandatory.
Okay. Hmm. Okay.
So this is a fairly average student with 71% in IT. Finished his 4-year degree at 71%. GRE is 288. TOEFL is 61, but wants to go only to US, nowhere else. But here you need to know the university names also, or some of the criteria.
Is there a budget constraint?
There's no budget constraint, sir. He cannot ask for a budget constraint. He will never go.
Okay.
The problem here is he has a low GRE score, which is not even
So
the minimum.
private universities in the USA.
Chartered universities.
Yeah. So TOEFL is also very low. So normally he doesn't get an admit into any universities, even if it is private or low also. So what we suggested him is to take the English bridging program. And these universities did not require GRE scores. And we gave him an English language program, bridging program, because his TOEFL was low. And we avoided GRE based universities to get out of that. And because his average marks were 71, pretty good score, he got scholarship from one of the universities. From the New York Institute of Technology, he got admit. From Lawrence Technological University, he got an admit. From National University also, he got an admit. But he chose to go to NYT because they gave him a $3,000 scholarship.
Just a question which has come up to my mind. Do these scholarship hamper commissions?
Definitely, sir. You will get commissions minus scholarship. See, you're getting commissions on what the student has paid.
Okay, the percentage basis.
Yes, the student pays minus scholarship. So the university gets only so much. So they pay commission on what is paid by the student. Scholarships are always beneficial to the students, not to us.
Yes.
But in the end, indirectly, it is beneficial to us because the student gets to go.
It's a good feedback actually.
Yeah. See, it boosts the self-confidence of the students also when they get a scholarship.
Equally to us also.
Yeah.
So this student has finished his 10th standard, 12th standard, has taken a 3-year diploma in automobile engineering, again joined bachelor's, discontinued his bachelor's, but wants to go for bachelor's again. So
I think he can join directly to the masters because he has experience also. So he can
Okay.
directly opt the matured pathway program.
no, sir, he wants to go for a bachelor's, not for master's.
Germany and Europe. Germany, technical
Yes,
information.
Germany.
Because he's done his automobile, he was planning to go to Germany.
Yeah,
Now he
Germany
can
is the
get a
best option for him.
direct entry, so he doesn't have to
Yeah.
do a pathway program. But because the programs are taught in German language, we recommended
to
him
do
to take the
Germany.
foundation course and then see if he's qualifying to get into a bachelor's program. Otherwise, he will come back.
Or check if he has a German language compatibility
He had only
certification.
No, but
Very-
if he can prove that he has an English proficiency letter or the international certificate for the IELTS or PTE, so then he can directly opt for the English program.
no, sir. There are no programs taught in English in Germany for bachelors.
Sir, I have a many students that I have sent to them, and they all of them are in English
Very
program.
few, sir. Very few.
Sir, I'm really apologize, but I have sent many people.
I know, sir. I also sent. That is what I'm saying. Very few. I'm
So
not saying
mostly
they're
the
not
private
For the bachelor program.
Yes.
No, sir. I have a many. Still that we are getting a student for a bachelor program, and all of them. Yesterday, that one of my student came from the Germany, and we met. It's applied mathematics that we got the admission
So
last year.
just, sir, is it a private or a public university?
It's a public
Or was
one.
Sir, what I'm talking about is automobile here, not applied mathematics. There are few programs offered in English.
Okay.
I'm not denying it. That is what I'm
Yeah,
telling
yeah.
you. I have also sent students to Germany where English in undergraduate, but not for automobile.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, sure.
So please listen to me completely.
So, can we get a list of programs which are taught in English or in bachelor's and which are not taught and which are taught in German?
All the programs that are listed on the CRM are completely taught in English only, sir.
Okay.
In France.
Yeah, I'm talking about Germany.
Germany, we don't get undergraduate applications, sir. So depending on the
Acha.
program, we shortlist and give them.
Okay.
So we don't have a library like that.
Okay. So, but we do Germany, this thing,
Yes,
Germany
yes.
bachelor
Yes.
applications.
We do, sir. We do.
Okay.
So student has 63% in engineering, electronics and communication engineering, has 6.5 IELTS. The preferred location is with more stayback and a course
Canada?
in embedded systems.
France and UK.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
would say
Canada will not be possible because universities don't give you admits for 63% into this program.
France, UK.
Okay.
Latvia, Lithuania.
France, Australia, UK,
Germany.
all these are possible.
Good option.
So this student went to France actually.
Yeah. People don't consider, but Latvia, Lithuania also have very good mechanics and embedded systems.
Definitely.
Yeah.
This student has a UG degree in 69 with 69%, has around 6 work experience. He doesn't want to attempt IELTS. He doesn't want to give any test. He wants a country which is very cheap and wants to get into with good stayback. And he's 37 years old.
France.
France can be possible.
Even Hungary and Portugal and all, Belgium, Europe is a good option for him.
Yes, even Austria is also possible.
Not all countries, sir, because Austria and all gives only 1 year stayback, except for France.
Yes.
So we gave him an option, but
Even
he doesn't want to.
UK, he can try. If he
Yes,
has.
ma'am.
Without
He can go
IELTS,
for
it
it.
is not possible.
What we advised him is to go for an MBA program because he's got substantial work experience.
Yes, UK is a good option for him. And if he can give this UG degree with English, if he has English proficiency, he doesn't require waiver of IELTS will be there.
Yes. So we gave him an option for GMAT, take a GMAT, get into an executive MBA because his experience was good. Or if he's looking for easy entry, then it is not possible because most of the universities don't accept more than 32 years for a normal master's program, for an MSc program, basically. So we advised him to go for an MBA program, which could admit any kind of age. Actually. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This is quite simple counseling, I think. He knows what he wants. You know where to send him.
Are Russia and Ukraine and Kyrgyzstan and all
Kyrgyzstan,
really good?
yes. And even
Better would be
Italy also.
Estonia, Latvia, Poland, and Lithuania, Georgia,
Let
etc.
me tell you, all these countries are available, but they will not, agree to go to Estonia and all that. I don't know why.
But actually, Estonia is one of the best countries for medicine.
Yes, ma'am. Has finished his 12th and is looking for a course in hospitality or business, which is affordable.
Singapore.
Yes. Any other option?
New Zealand.
New Zealand is not so
No.
Spain,
affordable.
Portugal, yes.
Cheap.
Because all these are tourist destinations.
Switzerland is also a hub for hospitality.
Yes, sir, but not affordable.
Not affordable. Okay.
Very costly.
Okay.
Has a UG degree in IT.
Sir, how do you define the affordability criteria?
Which one, sir?
Affordability criteria. For example, the last question that you have referred.
See, sir, when I say affordability, they look at the cost wise somewhere below 12 lakhs, 10 lakhs.
In terms of dollar or euro, please.
In terms of, I'm telling you in lakhs actually. So if you look at euros, it will be around 5,000 euros or 6,000 euros, something like that.
Okay.
Has a UG degree, he's got good IELTS score, has good work experience adequately, and wants to go to an English-speaking country, which gives him a longer stay back.
Australia and Malta. Australia and Malta.
He wants
Canada
English. Malta doesn't give you 2 years, ma'am, only 1 year.
Australia and Canada. USA also doesn't.
But he went to New Zealand.
So now, here comes my question. Out of these 4 countries, say New Zealand or 5 countries, how to funnel down which one should candidate choose now?
No, so it depends on the student's aspirations. It depends on the curriculum of the course. It depends on the university. It depends on the affordability of the student. All factors have to put into place.
Okay.
Now in Canada, sir, I can go in 2 ways. I can either go to a community college or university. There is one problem with Indians that after BCom or BSc or BTech, I want to go only for MTech. If you suggest them PG diploma, they doesn't want to take.
That's the biggest.
But
it looks as
but unfortunately, they don't know that PG has more value than masters actually. Job wise.
Yeah.
Any guess?
UK has stopped spouse, no dependent. So now it has to be Europe or Canada. Canada is also there, right?
Sweden.
This student never looked at UK at all.
Finland, I would say.
Finland.
Right now, Finland and Denmark are allowing. Otherwise, Europe does not allow normally. So this student actually went to Poland actually.
So Denmark is also allow family?
Yes, sir, they can do. Right now, they are accepting from last 7 months.
Actually, so Finland has some biochemistry domains, I suppose, courses, biotechnology. I've seen biotechnology, biochemistry students going to that area.
No, that's what I'm saying. Finland, Denmark allows spouse actually.
Yeah.
And in some courses, in some programs, I think Germany also allows.
Okay.
So pure sciences, Sweden is also very good, but then I don't think so spouses are allowed to in Sweden.
Yes, ma'am. This is a very special student actually. This student has completely studied on scholarships from his first standard till the degree. never spent a money on education.
USA?
Germany.
Sweden. Pure sciences, astrophysics, Sweden.
Germany.
Germany. Germany and USA. Sweden. So I don't know why you've not put in Sweden.
No, ma'am.
You get
Why?
very good scholarships in Sweden for
No,
astrophysics.
no, that's not that reason. I put this because these are the two more, more targeted countries for these kind of
Yeah.
programs actually. And this student is a 3-year BSc degree student, BSc Physics. He got an admit from Geneva, he got an admit from US, and he got from Germany. He went for mathematical physics, and in 1 month's time or in 1 week's time, the faculty members advised him to shift to astrophysics because he was good. And today he's a gold medalist in that university, and he's doing research. And this is a 3-year degree, man, BSc Physics. So if there is an excellent profile, then they accept even 3-year degrees. The last of the case studies has studied law, wants to pursue masters in law. So which country can we suggest?
UK?
UK.
One more country, which is popular.
Canada.
Europe?
USA.
US and UK degrees are very popular because the degrees are recognized by the Bar Council of India.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions, sir? These are a few terminologies that I thought would put in front of you. So I think you're familiar with these terminologies, but anybody who's come to know this domain will find it little strange when they see these kind of short forms on the offer letters. So get familiar with this so that, with these terminologies, which will help you further. These are some of the links that I was talking to you about. These are popular websites which you can use to upgrade yourself, get more information, get latest updates from different countries, for different countries. Okay.
So, TAD, DAAD, German Exchange Service. So, do we also apply through that in Germany?
No, so that is only a service provider which gives you, services on education updates or other facilities for research and other
internships
things.
and all.
Yeah. We cannot apply through that, sir, because all universities work independently, not through that.
Okay.
You can apply for that scholarships actually for living expenses. Yes.
Okay. So
that you can do.
will you help us applying for scholarships through that? If
No, so normally we leave it to the student, because it's highly competitive.
Okay.
Even before you look, it goes off.
Yeah.
And we don't keep tracking the deadlines and all that.
Okay, fair enough.
Any site for France?
You will get it on Masters portal only, sir. All the countries you'll get it on Masters portal, Bachelor's portal.
Okay.
You don't have to go to a specific website.
Nice.
All the European countries you'll get it there. So tomorrow you will have a demo session on the CRM. So how many of you have sent all your onboarding forms so that your platform credentials would have reached you? So that once
we have, I have received this thing, CRM login and all.
So once they show you the CRM, you can practice, try, test it out, and see if you find any difficulty, then get back to me.
I have a question here.
Yes,
regarding the CRMs. Can we get get these CRMs integrated in our existing websites, which we are already running?
You can talk to the operations department, so they will help you.
Okay.
If you've not got the credentials yet, it is probably the delay from your end. You need to send them the onboarding form for the operations department to create the website credentials. So without details, how will they create? So please send the operations department the onboarding form that was sent to you on the first mail. I think it must be there. So if you send it back, then they will send it to you in 3 working days.
So I haven't sent it because there was some technical issue at my end for the logo.
Okay,
So
ma'am.
if I send it today, will I be able to attend tomorrow's session or no?
You can attend the session, ma'am. Nobody's stopping you from attending this session. I was talking
Huh.
about practicing on your own platform. Trying it out.
Okay. So for tomorrow's session, we'll practice on the CRM.
No, you don't have to practice, ma'am. They'll show you a live demonstration of how the platform works actually.
Okay,
Now,
okay.
once you see that, you will find you need to try it out from your end, no?
Yes, but that's post the session, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
So
So I
even
have another.
you can send the credentials even without a logo, ma'am. Logo you can add later on also.
Oh, it says mandatory. So I spoke to them that, logo, because I'm not getting the pixels right, whatever they want. So that's the
Okay.
hitch why I've not still sent it, right?
Okay.
So I'll probably, anyways, I'll send it. I have another question with regards to today's session and yesterday's session. So I get a lot of query for Germany.
Okay, ma'am.
Right, and these are generally good students. They are BTech students wanting to do masters, and they all are above 8 GPA or 7.5 CGPA, right?
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Now most German universities don't have a payout, right? Because they are looking at TU Munich or TU Berlin,
Yes, ma'am.
right? That we would want to go to a TU or a TU Netherlands kind of
Yes,
a thing.
yes.
How does a counselor earn from a student like that?
That's why we given you a prefixed price list, I think, ma'am. In the first
Yes,
mail.
yes, you did.
Yeah, that is what we follow. Over that price that is listed there, which you pay to EduMilestone, you need to mark up your price and then tell the student.
Okay.
So that is how
Okay.
you earn.
Yeah. The other question is that sometimes I get to, so a lot of agents out there, agents or counselors or whatever we may call them, they say that if a student comes, for example, wants to go to UK, and they say, no, ma'am, we will guarantee that 2 universities your student will get admission. We are guaranteeing. But here we are not saying any such thing that we will guarantee. So how do we cope with that kind of competition?
Ma'am, if the profile is good,
Huh?
I know there are certain universities I can guarantee you admission because they accept those kind of profiles. So that's the only trick there.
Tomorrow somebody should not say that you gave
Huh.
time.
So why I'm asking, so those list of universities we will be told tomorrow, because tomorrow we'll have the CRM. Is there a sign or signet where I know that, okay, in this country a student who is above 80% through 10, 12th and undergrad will for sure get a, let's say, master's in psychology or master's in
Ma'am,
ABCD.
let me caution you. No
Yeah.
university guarantees the admission.
Yes.
It is a false notion given by agents just to attract students. But any decision is made by the university. You cannot sit and say guarantee you will get, because there may be various reasons why the university might have rejected you. Let me show you one example for Germany, ma'am. I had a hello.
Yes, I'm listening, sir.
Yeah, I had one student who had 9.08 CGPA and 7 IELTS, who was rejected by University of Dortmund. You know what they said? After seeing the profile, they said, you may not be able to cope up with the syllabus. So hence we will not be able to give you an admission. Then we wrote an appeal with projects, all those explanations. I don't know what all we did. It was like a big booklet. And after 3 months of examination, they gave us the admit back.
No. So for some, see, this is a very specific case where the student is good. You know what? The parents, no, they don't have enough knowledge. So the only thing that I continuously hear is, oh, that person is assuring कि कहीं ना कहीं तो UK में मिल जाएगा आपके बच्चे को. हम guarantee देते हैं that we will give him or her some admission in some university in UK.
Ma'am, that is possible. I'm not denying it. What I'm telling you is, don't promise students in case of psychology and these things, because our credits or number of subjects in the syllabus is not enough for admissions into most of the UK universities for psychology. They reject.
Okay.
So before promising, be careful. The more you promise and you don't get an admit because of the student's problem, you are into trouble.
All right. Okay. So and how, as we grow with EduMiles, do we get to know a way to check that this student has and this student doesn't have?
No, ma'am. What happens is, what you need to do is when you apply for a student for UK,
Yeah.
USA, all these students, we give them 5 choices, ma'am, to make sure
Yeah.
that at least one offer comes to them.
Yes, that is
But
the need.
yeah, but there is one more problem there. Students come up with choices of their own and say they want to apply only to one of these. They don't take our choice. Now, if
Okay.
there is a rejection from that, we are not supposed to be blamed.
Okay,
Yes.
so they go with 5 choices, at least 5 choices, because one nobody can guarantee, right?
Even in some cases, I can guarantee you one. If I see the profile, I can tell you where it will get.
Okay, that comes with experience, I guess.
Definitely.
Okay.
If I had to create a training material for people whom I teach, it took me 17 years.
Well, experience, there's no, competition to that. What comes with experience comes with that. No booklet for experience, I guess.
Yes, ma'am. Even this, ma'am, actually, every student you counsel, you learn day by day. Every case is a different case, and every case is something new which teaches you, actually. So that is how we learn,
Absolutely.
actually. That is how I learned,
Absolutely.
actually.
Sure.
When I started in the initial stages, ma'am, I was supposed to run away from this domain the third day, actually.
Okay.
I was pushed into this profession, actually. I had no
Okay.
inkling of study abroad. I have nothing, no idea at all. It was zero knowledge. And the third day, I
Mhm.
thought I will run away from this place because I saw the huge number of universities, the number of courses, the number of criteria. I got mad, actually. I thought, how will I learn all this?
True.
So, that was my decision, actually. Third day, I thought I'll run away from the office without telling anybody. But today, even after 17 years, I'm into this domain.
That's right. So I think as we progress, we will get confidence. We will have enough
Definitely, ma'am.
confidence
When you
to
counsel
kind
a
of,
few students, ma'am, automatically that confidence
yeah.
creates in you because you learn from that experience.
Yep. Yep. Sure, sure. And then you are there to help us. So I'm banking on that a lot.
Definitely, ma'am.
Every 3 months or 6 months, the immigration rules, the visa rules, the permit rules, the education, university eligibility conditions, entry requirements also keep changing.
Normally, entry requirements don't change, ma'am. Immigration rules change.
No, sometimes they do, sir. Entry requirements of particular universities, programs for certain programs, like you said, IELTS 6.5. But for certain academic research-based programs, you need 7.5 and above.
Ma'am, that doesn't change every day,
Everything
ma'am.
is
It
there.
is fixed, actually. If a program is
Yeah.
requiring 7, that is always 7 only. They don't
Yeah, but
change
then
it to
there are so
6.5.
many different figures to remember. So it's very difficult for anybody to remember that, actually.
No, ma'am, I'm not asking you to remember it overnight. Please
I know
take
it
time.
has.
Please take
That's
time.
what I'm saying. That's what I'm agreeing with. It comes with time. You have to do our own background research and everything.
Yes, ma'am.
That is the reason we have taken up this portal also.
You need to keep yourself updated, ma'am. Any feedback from your end, ma'am, sir? Everybody's experienced, I think, more than me sometimes. So
Wonderful
Just a bit
session,
of
sir. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your patience. We really appreciate, and your experience shows how
thank you,
patient
sir.
we have to be while dealing with a student and their parents.
Thank you, sir.
so just
Any?
one small feedback.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so can we or we I was thinking to have this thing, a kind of a demo or something kind of a thing for applying to universities which say in this thing, the process, the application process kind of a thing. Something kind of a demo thing for for a particular university in Italy or any place in Europe or like Lithuania colleges in all these European countries. So if matlab that if we get that, it would be an added plus point.
We'll think about it, sir. Don't worry.
Yeah.
I don't know who is telling Mr. Anil Balyan. You have not got your CRM details. Sir, it is a delay from your part. You should have sent the, if you have not sent the, onboarding form, then there will be a delay. If you have already sent, please send a reminder to operations@edumilestones.com. They will reply to it. Any other questions, sir? Any other doubts? Any other feedback? Tomorrow and day after will only be the demo session, so you will not get a PPT. Only the recording will be received.
Will we get something other than the PPTs? Any material other than the PPTs?
This is the material, so there is no other material.
There's no other material. Okay.
Because if I create a material tomorrow, it will be obsolete.
Got it.
Mr. Arvind, I have a small request. You enter from your mobile only once. If you do it from your laptop and mobile, I will not know from this end. Then I will remove it. So kindly cooperate. You apply or enter only once into the system through your mobile or laptop. You decide which one you want. Hope I'm clear. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for everybody's valuable time and patience to listening to me. So
Thank you for your time and patience, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, thanks a lot. That was a wonderful 2 days session, and I think you have briefed us so well that yeah, it was flawless. Like, thank you, and I think we still did not get your name, I believe.
My name is Satish Chandra, sir.
Satish Chandra. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you so much.